Even more dumpster fire headlines for the dumpster fire Democrats. According to new research, working class voters think Dems are, quote, woke and weak. And Democrats are hitting a record high 55% unfavorable rating in the latest CNN poll, which is their worst showing since they started asking this question 2 decades ago. And the candidate who will save them? The governor who can't talk without his hands doing the Macarena.
I hate when nothing I dislike more than the politician that sits there and lies to you. And we all just sit there rolling our eyes going, give me a break.
Did you ever have concerns, Governor, about his capacity
I go home
to
with
serve another 4 years?
No, I never had that direct. I just talked to the president. I spent almost 2 hours with him in December, right before, during the transition in the Oval Office. And my experience, his expression, gave me no pause, no doubt.
So, Greg, you know, we look at that and we see this what is the word? Ogilanius?
I'm just trying to get that head tilt.
Yeah.
When he's basically like, you're saying you're not going home with me? I don't think so. Or it's like, you're going to be leaving here in a new Porsche. It's like this weird, I can't look at that. It's amazing. It's like, oh, that's incredible. You don't even need the sound on. It's look at that. I could look at that for hours. Look at that. That's fantastic. Honestly, that is Here we go. Oh! Anyway, okay, that's all I have on him. Working class, I mean, the guy lives in his own blind spot. We all have a blind spot about one or two things. His entire existence is a blind spot. The working classes were sacrificed on the altar of luxury beliefs. These are the beliefs, the virtue signaling beliefs that all the wealthy white libs could handle, but everybody else couldn't. A plumber has no time, or patience for Queers for Palestine, or the secret racism of road maps, or drag queen acceptance at public library children's time. And it became an affront to their senses. It's okay if luxury beliefs are benign. Recreational beliefs, like you believe the world is flat or UFOs, or even like paper straws and reusable bags, luxury beliefs. But their luxury beliefs were destructive. They're suicidal. You talk about perversion and recidivism. You have the trans delusion that they pushed on kids, and then you have repeat offenders that are let out because of no cash bail. These are all luxury beliefs that actually hurt people, that invade their family lives and compel them to obey certain destructive things. Right. That's worse than a luxury belief. It's a luxury destruction.
Yeah. So, Emily, you're from California. You've seen this guy for a long time. Is it a blind spot that he has, like Greg says, or does he know something that the rest of us don't know, that people aren't really as put off by this creepiness?
No, I think that in his case, his ego has just eclipsed everything else. And we see that, we see that in Democrat Party form often. We just talked about it last block, where someone says, no, let me speak for you, person of color, minority, member of a community that I purport to represent, and articulate your needs better than you. That is Gavin. And that's why it's so funny that you were like, come home with me, because whenever I see him, I think of that greasy, disgusting person in the bar in an 80s movie, the prep school kid that always gets his way and gets what he wants, come hell or high water. But I think that writ large, first of all, the fact that the majority of working class voters in the Democrat Party view their party as elite, that is why, to your point, watch it on mute, and you're telling me that person does not think he's better than you in all respects and knows better than you in all respects. The other thing is, you can't fake happiness. So when he talked about that, what he sees is the vulnerability of the party is weakness. And he said you can be, weak and right. That's not it at all. I think, frankly, that the miserableness of the Democrat Party and the libs, the Trump derangement syndrome, the fact that they don't have God so often, that shows in everything. Take it from me. I'm the happiest person you know. And when someone is literally, figuratively speaking, suicidal about their party, No wonder people have no hope. They have given up. And so the members of that party see that.
You're not the happiest person.
Second
I am.
So, as the happiest person, Dana, do Democrats? Is it a messaging problem, or is it way more?
I think it's a governance problem and a competence problem, and the proof is just in the number of people who want to move into your state and the people who want to leave your state. I think that's very simple. And I think blue state governors and blue city mayors are seeing this all across the board. That's why they have to constantly say that we will raise taxes, and they don't want to deal with the consequences of what that means. So if you have people that want to move to your state, it is probably governed well. If you have the highest number of U-Hauls that want to leave in a one-way from California to Arizona, Nevada, Dallas, Florida, Nashville, like pretty much anywhere else. And that's the sad thing is these two know, and I lived in San Diego for 3 years. That's one of the most beautiful places on earth. And people don't want to be there. So I think it's a governance issue. I think it's also the fact that a lot of these coalitions are changing. So on the Democratic side, the Republicans have gone through this a little bit, and Trump's holding it together. In fact, I think that Trump is holding the Democrats together right now, too.
Yes.
That if he's not there, then what do they rally around? Is it Gavin Newsom? I don't know. But can Gavin Newsom force the socialists and the progressives and the moderates and the rural farmers, to the extent that there are any, can he keep them all together? Right. They're trying to do it by force rather than from the ground up.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.